to say about it? You have something to say about it? Look, there you are. Whoop. So, hey guys. So I am on the road again, back on the road after last night's fiasco where 7 out of 8 lug nuts sheared off on my wheel and it nearly came off going down the road with the trailer. Steve, guys, hey in there, see you, Jesse. So let's talk quick here. Let's go. She's gonna yell at me soon because I don't have food. Bye, Swan. So hey guys, I thought I'd bring this up because I know everybody's talking about it, but it's interesting. I don't watch football. I honestly don't even really have time to watch football, right? Thanks, guys. Thank you, Angel. So to me, like being entertained by sports is so low on the priority list when we have a country that literally has no law, that whose government exists in a state of anarchy, right? But then when I see people with a voice and they're using that voice to speak out against injustice, I'm like, well, that's cool. I like that, right? I like that. Pro, Willie, good to see you guys in there. All you guys. So I'm looking at this, right? And there's this news article. This is, of course, everybody's talking about this, right? The singer of the anthem. This one's from a couple days ago. Takes a knee at the Seahawks Titans game. And this was Megan Lindsay, who is a performer from The Voice, all these things, right? Hey, Pro Games. And Kyle Clark, I see you. So what's the deal, right? What's the deal with this knee thing? You know what? This is phenomenal. This is great. I am so glad that all you hypocrites out there who are so self-centered and anti-law and anti-justice, and they're like, oh, we just want to watch our sports and not have to think about all the suffering people. I'm so glad that you're not being allowed to do that. Now, I know a lot of you guys watching this are not in that camp. But I'm just really happy about that because people have to be waking up. All right. Now, you know what I noticed? I saw an article, the one I just pointed out, and I saw it shared on one of the local news sites in my town. Now, this is the same news site that runs stories about me being arrested and that promotes the false narrative of the police and that's always supporting the bad guys, right? It's called iFiber One News over in Ephrata. And they're just a good old boys news organization. They don't really report news. They basically parrot police reports and other news stories for the most part. Occasionally they report sort of news as the government gives it to them. And I'm generalizing a little bit, but they're not very impressive. Welcome to News in America. They post this article of this woman, and all these people are on there. All the good old locals are on there calling them names. And I'm realizing these are the same people that are always using vulgarity and insults and calling me names when I stand up. And guys, I realized something. It kind of clicked with me. The people calling you names when you stand, the people saying you're doing it wrong, you're rude, you're disrespectful, the people calling me names when I stand, it's not about them actually thinking you're rude. It's not actually about the tactic. Okay? What it is that loyalists, they cannot stand being reminded of injustice. They refuse to have to face that because they hate justice and truth with a passion. And unfortunately, that's kind of what a lot of America has been conditioned to think like. All right. So, you know, the people that back the blue, that support terrorists, right? A person that backs the blue is no different than someone saying, I back ISIS, right? I mean, they back terrorists. In fact, the blue actually abuses more people, certainly in America. So when you have people, celebrities, and people in a public figure scenario, right, and they're getting up, and Trump comes out, and he's a unconstitutional, wannabe Kim Jong Un, Kim Jong Un, it's like he's Kim Jong Un's brother from another mother because he pretends to be a patriot, but what he's promoting is nationalism. What he's promoting is forcing people to sing the way he wants. Right? Pretty soon he'll be doing pose shots with him holding binoculars while his generals smile behind him, and he's threatening other countries. So it's all this false narrative that's growing. When someone takes a knee, first of all, personally, I think it's kind of a great way to protest because there's a humility to it, and we need humility. Do I think that they got it all right? No. Do I think it's just about black people and people of color being abused? No. But there's no question that people of color are targeted across the nation. But it's not just people of color. It's blacks. Yes, it's Mexicans. It's Native Americans. But it's also whites. It's the Ammon Bundys, the Jeff Winehouses, the Schaefer Cox, and so we see this abuse everywhere, and I really wish we could make it less about race. But who am I to speak against someone who's saying, I'm sick of the black man being abused? Because they absolutely are. It's absolutely true. They absolutely are targeted. And the whole right wing fascists that aren't actually Republicans that are like, oh, force everybody to do it our way, right? Everybody else is a terrorist, so we should terrorize them, right? All these fraud loyalist patriots that don't even have the cojones to stand up to the blue terrorists, even as they say, no one's going to come and take my guns, right? It's amazing. And they're just willingly asleep. Okay. I was actually on the phone with Ammon Bundy yesterday, and we were kind of talking and laughing about this. How, you have these tough guy militia 3%ers, and they're like, well, when the day comes, I'm going to be ready and I'm not going to take anymore. And we were kind of laughing because we were like, the day has come. They're taking your guns. They're locking us in prison. The day has come, and you're doing nothing. You're still supporting the ones who are enforcing the treason. It's all a fraud. The person talking tough on Facebook but not acting now is nothing but a coward. They're never going to stand up for liberty unless their eyes are opened, because the tyranny is right here now, today, on our doorstep. America's gone. There is no law. There is no justice left. The judges are terrorists. The cops are terrorists. We are the terrorists. The USA, guys. And so when these people, these sports figures, actors, whatever, right? I'm sure I disagree with them on lots of things. Okay? But you know what? I'm with them on being sick of people being abused. Okay? It's intolerable. You should not be able to go and sit and enjoy a sports game without having to face that in your mind of what's really happening, of what's happening in the prisons, of what's happening at the hands of police on the street. Now, I'm not saying the owner of a team doesn't have the right to fire their players if they want, sure. But they also have no right to force the players to do what to take a knee, to refuse to do this nationalistic flag worship, right? So people that are standing up against fake law, against these statutes, that's right, statutes. They're not real law. Real law is your life, liberty, and property. That are standing up against the injustice, that are opposing the blue line. All these people out here that are calling them names, saying, "Oh, they shouldn't be allowed. Trump's right. They should be fired." You know what? If the owners of these sports teams who make hundreds of millions of dollars off these players, if they want to fire them, go ahead, right? But what I'm glad is that these players are having the cojones to stand up. And what I find amusing is that Trump tried to bully them into doing it his way, right? Because that's his tactic. Make a law, force somebody with a gun, put patriots in jail, and prosecute them with your buddy Jeff Sessions. Uh, tweet so that people have to do what you want, and say you're a patriot when actually you're destroying freedom. Because that's what, and I'm not just blaming Trump. Obama did this too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking a faction side here. The Congress is doing it. The Supreme Court is doing it. This goes all the way, right? Goes all the way to the top. Okay. But you know what? Anyone who's speaking out, guys, if someone's speaking out against injustice, you should be speaking out with them. All right. And so for the people that are disrespecting the founding fathers of this nation by saying, "Oh, the veterans, you're dishonoring them because you don't worship the flag," that is nonsense. Any self-respecting veteran who actually defended freedom is going to understand that we don't have freedom. that defending freedom failed. Now, the ones who are going to be like, I'm a veteran, how dare you do that? They're the frauds. They're the fake veterans. They're only veterans of following orders. They're not veterans of liberty. Oh, I served overseas and bombed people to protect your freedom. No, you didn't protect my freedom by bombing innocent women and children and fighting for oil for your crooked politician friends. I'm not saying all the veterans that took part in these illegal wars did it out of a bad heart, right? Maybe they thought they were doing good, but fighting wars for power people is not defending my freedom. And that is evidenced by the fact that we have no freedom. Our national guards, our police, even our military at times right here in the homeland are the ones now violating our freedom. They're the ones invading our constitutional rights, especially the police, many of whom are, quote, veterans, right? So I refuse to play into your fake patriotism, to your hypocrisy. I refuse to play in to your ideology that because you put your hand on your heart and you stand up for the anthem or you fly the flag, that makes you a patriot. You're not a patriot. The people that are out crying about these things and saying, how dare someone protest, they're not patriots. They're loyalist, nationalist slash frauds. They're slaves at best. They're slaves. Okay. So if you wanna be a slave, if you want to support nationalism and pretend patriotism, may your chains rest lightly upon you. And I hope that your eyes open. But those of us who love liberty, we're going to keep speaking out. We're going to keep calling you out. We're going to keep flying that flag upside down. And you know what? Absolutely. What a great way to show that the nation is in distress than to refuse to stand and pretend that the anthem is as it should be, that we actually have that nation, right? To take a knee shows humility. We need to take a knee before God. We need to take a knee in humility. We need to take a knee next to our neighbor in reaching out a hand to help them. That's true justice, honor. That's true patriotism. And so for all these frauds, thanks, Jesse. And yes, I did block that troll. For all these frauds out here that you want to perpetrate your pretend patriotism by saying that someone that protests is the problem. You're the problem. And I love it. I am so thankful when apathetic, sleeping people are made to have to look at what our nation has become. And that's why they lose control. That's why they're filled with hate. Because they demand that you allow them to be filled with their hate, with their ignorance, and with their pride. And if you peacefully remind them that this nation is not free, they want to use intimidation and even violence to stop your words. Just like they did to Jesus, just like they did to Martin Luther King, just like they did to Ammon, to Lavoie, to countless others, to blacks, to whites, to Mexicans, to Native Americans, all over the country for years and years, and frankly, all through our history. And it's time to use your voice to speak out against that. So don't let people that are doing this fake honor. Oh, I support veterans. I support the anthem. That's all nonsense. You support people who defend liberty, or you are against liberty. If you're supporting people who trampled liberty, you are not a patriot. You're not a defender of liberty. And I don't care what you label them or what song you sing. If you don't stand with liberty, if you're standing against those who defend liberty, then you stand with tyranny. It's time for us all to come together and unite against the blue line, against our government of treason. Love our neighbor as ourselves, humble our hearts, throw off this stupid pride and nationalism that has destroyed our country. I don't care what your faction is. This isn't about left or right. Most of the left has it wrong. They want socialism and they want to take stuff from other people to fix it, and they want more laws to fix it. And the right, most of them have it wrong too. They want fake patriotism. They want pretend honor of those who actually died defending freedom. They want pretend honor to honor everyone, including the tyrants, instead of honoring those who actually defended freedom, right? They want laws to force people to think their way. The two sides are no different. So be factionless. Be factionless. When you're factionless, they hate you with a passion. That's why they hate me. That's why they hate many of you. Remember that movie? That movie, I forget the name of it, where if you were without faction, they literally wanted to kill you, right? That's what we're coming to in America. They want you a member of their club or you're out. I refuse to be a member of your club. I refuse. The only one I worship is at the throne of Jesus. The only one I worship is God. You can worship however you please, but the moment you cross that line, you violate the rights of others, you're the enemy of liberty. And friend, I love you enough. I love you enough to call you out on it. So, all right, you guys, I'm gonna roll. This one's almost 15 minutes long, and I know how you guys get when I go too long. All right, so keep spreading the truth. Maybe you guys make a video like this. Don't let your family stay in ignorance. Right? A lot of people just understand. There's a lot of loyalists. There's a lot of people that are truly wicked and they support violence and hate. But a lot of people are also just blinded by the peer pressure and what they've been taught, and so we got to speak out, and we've got to stand up, and we've got to try and bring people together. All right. I've got the van working back on the road. If you want to see more about what happened with there, go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/callmegav, and I'll be doing some more videos soon as we're doing some traveling, and maybe have some cool stuff to show you guys. So um, keep spreading the word. You can also follow my other channel, um, facebook.com slash, not facebook.com, youtube.com/ Syme Studios, and that's kind of my day job channel, my photography, things like that. So thank you all for the shout out.